Okay, for this case study questions, imagine you are the CEO of XYZ company. What is your strategy for the next 10 years? This is actually where I see that people that are interviewing for product manager roles, and these are very typical types of like product manager case studies that at least we're seeing on our side at Product Gym, is like what would end or kill the business in 10 years? I would be offering new products and features to offset this threat, and then I'd be thinking about acquiring new businesses to offset this threat as well. People are wondering to me, like, hey, Rich, are people really asking this on the case studies these days? Actually, they are, because they're asking you to present either like a very quick deck, a whiteboarding session that's on the spot, or just doing the interview completely live. Obvious, as always. You got any other case studies? Send them over to me. I'm more than happy to go out there and try to take a little crack at it. Like I mentioned before, we had some Uber case studies that I was just overviewing earlier. That's kind of more the style you guys want to see. But people are asking this kind of on the spot. Like, imagine you're the CEO. Like, what's your strategy for the next 10 years? And asking people to make presentations on that. Here's the thing. Nobody's going to know what's going to happen for the next 10 years, and you just need to own up to that. You would ask, like, I'd be thinking, what would end or kill our business in 10 years? I'd be asking the questions like, what are other types of businesses that have been in our field for the past 10 years? How are they doing? Where are they at? And what have they done? Facebook did something that was very smart, which was they looked at where MySpace, I'm like kind of revealing my age here, but they kind of looked at where MySpace was at previously. And they're like, I don't think people born after 1993, 1995, or definitely out after 2000 is going to be using Facebook. We have to go out there and get into the next thing. I think they tried to grab Snapchat first, and then they said no, and then they went after for Instagram. But it's amazing to me that when people are being asked very basic level questions about tech and how they feel about it, they're just like, "What's the right answer?" Like, aren't you guys like actually studying this stuff in the industry? As like, aren't you guys genuinely just interested in what's going on in the industry? Because if you were, I think these are just a very easy case study question to go out there and answer, and just kind of talk about it like two people that are actually fans of talking about the UFC, right? Like, where do you think John Jones's career could have gone if the guy wasn't such a degenerate? It's like, lower it down. Why your case study determines your salary is the confidence that you deliver your case study, and how are you actually answering these questions. Very, very, very important. Take a step back, breathe, and actually just think about it. I don't even think like I think I'll get like all these troll comments, but the problem with these case studies is that people have gotten to be so technical and popped into ChatGPT where they present all this stuff, and what hiring teams are looking for right now is just your genuine opinion about how do you like where do you think this business is going to be in 10 years. If I'm going to be speaking frankly right now, I think it's going to be over in 6. You know, if I'm going to be honest, the market's actually abandoning you. I don't think this. We agree. So, what do you feel we should do about it? Right? Have just a genuine conversation. That's kind of like the overall. That's kind of like why I wanted to just do like I recorded this like one case study after another, after another, after another, to just give people kind of like comparisons that they can make in terms of like making their own decision with it. But on that side, they've already seen all the decks from all the MBA interns and grads, and like they can whip it up. You can prompt it right now. I've seen a lot of other creators or like course creators and coaches in my space where they show you how to do like this, like how you prompt it in ChatGPT. How do you genuinely feel? Like, where do you feel like the business is actually going? This is what's missing in a lot of people's case studies. It's a great opportunity to present who you are as just an individual. We're trying to get to know you. Your resume, LinkedIn, and cover letter, largely, it's just to determine whether or not you have some degree of competence. Your interview questions is kind of like a degree of like, I would say, culture fit. Like, do we like the way that you communicate? Do we think we can hang out with you? But your case study is really like, what's your genuine opinion? And that's what they think about in the salary room. It's just like, how do we feel about John versus Jane? It's just like, Jane is just waiting to just say like, Johnny is just waiting. I don't want to be labeled as like, I'm certain bias, particular gender here, but like Johnny is just like he is just, and this is just what people don't want to hire. Like I think he's qualified to do the job, or she's qualified to do the job, or they are qualified to do the job. They don't really stand for anything, you know. It's kind of like a politician that's just like, do you even have an opinion? Like, answer the question as if like, you already work here. Like, where do you genuinely think the business is going to go to 10 years? Well, honestly speaking, like if we're looking at the previous businesses that came before you, such as MySpace, they didn't even make it to year 10. I mean, luckily the guy became like a photographer, but let's just say if they were still around, looking like Nokia is like saying we didn't do anything wrong, but somehow no, you deserve to lose. You got killed. you know, Not doing the wrong things doesn't mean you did any of the right things, and you got to do the right things to stay alive in this racket. Otherwise, you're done. Tinder was very relevant. I know people that got married meeting somebody on Tinder. I don't know anybody that's even meeting people that's on Tinder right now because the app itself has gotten so contaminated. People just don't even have a good opinion of it right now. When it came out, I heard it was like great for people. I didn't get to use it when it first came out. But what about BlackBerry? They were relevant at one point, right? So case studies, people are like, like how would you go out there and sell more maple trees, or how would you go ahead and build an oven for people in wheelchairs, or how would you go ahead and design like an app for this? Like, can we just get like a genuine opinion from you? Is that even possible? Because that's where people actually lose out. If they really need somebody to start, they're like, you're worth this much. They largely can do the job. But if you want to go for the bigger salaries, they're looking for leaders, and the leaders have opinions. So the next one here, I'm going to go ahead and cover for y'all. Okay, pro tips. You don't know what you don't know. Expect the question. Create a short list of failed or redundant businesses. Like, take a look at all the people. I'm a history major, so I love studying like origin stories. Take a look when you're interviewing with the company. Like, okay, Spotify, take a look at where SoundCloud ended up. Not in a good place. Think about how you're going to capture the next generation of users, right? I don't know if you can even teach common sense. But like, think about those things. But the next question I'm going to chomp down is, how would you go ahead and revolutionize car wash? See you in the next one. See you in school. Don't be late to school. Get paired up with a mock interview partner. Because that's the other thing too. Even people that have the answer, sometimes their answers, they just come off so unnatural. It's just like, that thing was just robotically uncomfortable.